Okay, looks like we are live and recording, and I'm happy. It's been a great day. I hope it's been a wonderful day for you too. It is July the 10th, um, Thursday afternoon. This is week 5. Can you believe it? We have been through 4 weeks of expanding and growing and experiencing, and now we're down to we're kind of like down to the wire. This week is going to be about sustaining your success. We put the groundwork in and did the tools and got to the point of creating, and now what we're going to deal with today is how to create a heart connection with all that you've learned, and what to do about how that heart connection, or why that it's so important to maintain your daily energy hygiene practices because of that heart connection. I'm going to kind of give you a little bit of a background as to how the law of attraction works and why it works the way it does, and how we are part of it, and that it works whether we want it to or not. In other words, I always say, better that you learn how to work the law of attraction instead of letting it work you. Okay, because pretty much for most of us, that's what it's doing. It's working us. So let's just dig right in and get going. Like I said, this is week 5. It's July the 10th. Can you believe how fast time is flying? Tell you, middle of the year, kids are already talking about back to school. And we are at the next to the last module of the series. So I hope you're loving the experience and that great things are already happening for you. I posted some testimonials today about some of the things that are happening for some of our members, me included. I mean, as your coach and mentor, and having to plan the classes and then conduct the sessions, I get to get the benefits too. I get to experience right along with you all that this material offers you. It's not just about me standing up here or sitting here in front of a camera and doing a hangout with you and then letting you go off and experience all of this on your own. Nope, I'm the coach. I'm also one of the students, so I'm happy about that because I've had some really good stuff happening, and I just told you a couple of things, and there's much more to it. So anyway, as we go along, I hope you'll be sharing more. And the group is not going to go away just because the series ends. I'm going to let the group stay there. For one thing, we've had some new members come in that just came in last week. And so if they want to take the series, they're going to have to play catch up. But I also want to leave it available to you so that over the next few weeks, you can come back and do it again on your own, at your own pace. But if you can spend another 6 weeks going through the material again, start with class 1 and really dig into it, you're going to find it's going to even be more powerful than it is now because you've gone through it, you've become attuned to it, you are a little familiar with what it's about, and so you will be more open and receptive to its benefits, and take it a lot more seriously once you've experienced some progress and some things coming together for you. It gives you confidence and belief in it, and anytime you build that kind of response, of course it works even better. But even so, whatever the case, there may be other people coming in and taking it on their own after this live session's over. So this week we're going to focus on, like I said, helping you understand the importance of consistency and how important it is to work on raising your energies to higher levels and stabilizing them there. We're going to help you develop a habit of daily energy practices of the key activities you've been given, and this way it'll help you to stabilize and stay on those higher levels. Because what I've learned because this was all built on stuff that I did over a period of years as I was coming out of the economic downturn and the divorce and the deaths and all that happened to me that just ripped my life apart. I learned a lot of this stuff, some here, some there, discovering it on my own, and so it was a system that came together as a result of my experiences, and I took the best of what I learned. Not everything. I mean, there's still a lot more that I couldn't put in this mini session. There's even more in the recorded version. The full-blown home study version has a little bit more than what we did here. but this mini series was designed to get you going, to help you heal, to get you focused, and more than anything, to help you get DS Domination going and to keep yourself motivated while you're building and gaining momentum and getting to the point of success that some of the other people are having. Remember, this whole thing started as a way to help you stay motivated and focused and not let other people's success define you, because that's their story, that's their life, not yours. So I'm hoping that this series accomplished that goal for you. But no matter what the case, in order for you to get to the point of maintaining your success, you got to keep your energy levels up. What this also does is, by stabilizing at those higher energy levels, when other challenges come, because you know, as long as you're on this planet, there are going to be other challenges. There are going to be things that disturb you, days that are difficult, things that come up where you may have thought perhaps it's an experience that you thought you'd handled and healed, and one day something may trigger it again and you'll need to bring yourself back up. What happens when you've gone through this process and you do your daily hygiene practices, you find that things that happen don't affect you the way they used to. You don't get sad. You don't have the mood swings. You don't have the ups and downs and all that emotional stuff that destabilizes your energy and causes you to manifest nightmares out of the law of attraction instead of dreams. So the whole point of this is to give you some tools to work with so you can manage life, and so you can learn to be happy within yourself no matter what's going on around you or who's being a drama king, queen, prince, or princess. You can step back and be more of an observer than a puppet. In other words, you become the king of your own, the master of your own puppet show. Instead of other people jerking and pulling your strings, you take your strings back and say, thank you very much, but I'm out of this show. I'm out of this performance. You can dance, and you learn to dance and beat to the beat of your own music. So to get started, let's do a little review. I want to kind of go over the 7 universal laws because they are the underlying foundations and principles beneath all of creation and all creativity. And since we are co-creators with the universe, we really need to understand what these laws are and how they work so that, like I said before, they don't work us, we work them. Now that you've spent a little time working with them and doing some exercises that help you become better co-creators, let's just go over them again, refresh your minds and bring it back to focus of your attention. I kind of changed the order a little bit, and there's no particular order of these laws. I mean, they are principles, they are laws, and it doesn't matter where you start in the middle or what order you find them in. Oh, and while I don't know if I mentioned this in the first session when we first start talking, but there's a book by Deepak Chopra. I think it's called The 7 Universal Laws, or anyway, you can put in Deepak Chopra. It's one of his most popular books. It'll come up. He uses different titles, but they're still the same. And his book is very good and very deep, and it goes into a much deeper explanation of each law. You also can look up the 7 Universal Laws PDF by Christy Whitman. And she will, if you join her list, she'll send you 1 law every week and help you. Of course, you're signing into her list, but after you get the 7th law, PDF law, you can always unsubscribe. But what it is, mainly, she gives the description of the one. This is the descriptions that I use when I talk about it. But mainly, she goes into more detail about them and how they work, and she also gives you little information about how to make them work for you as opposed to against you. So let's start with law number 1. The law of deliberate creation. With deliberate creation, you recognize that you are the one who steps into the energy field that surrounds you and intentionally creates your environment through your thoughts and your actions. You change your energy vibrations by elevating your thoughts and your feelings and taking the steps to maintain them at those levels. Now, this is what we do when we use techniques like EFT and NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. EFT being emotional freedom technique, which is what we've been doing. It's also known as tapping. And when we use those techniques to change our thinking and behaviors, we become very good co-creators. By shifting our thinking from focusing on our focusing energy on our current circumstances and situations, we shift to feeling how we'd feel if we had what we are desiring. That takes our energy off of the stuff that we're experiencing and onto what we want to create. And anytime you shift that energy, you get what you focus on, okay? When you shift those energies into what you're desiring instead of what you're currently experiencing, you begin to draw to you your heart's desire, and that changes your circumstances. Anytime you take your attention off of something, it starts to dissolve, break down, and disappear, and it goes back and it goes away. That's any problem. Once you solve a problem and you stop focusing on it, and you now have a solution and you're focusing on the solution, you notice how quickly the problem becomes small and eventually gets what we call resolved. It basically goes away because you're not focusing on it. But if you go back and dig up that old problem, you can bring it back to life. Now, learning how to stay focused and stay grounded in this positive energy takes time, but it can be done. To be a deliberate creator, you must know 3 things. Number 1, what you want. Number 2, why you want it. And number 3, how it feels to have it. With that information, you can start to use and control, or at least have an effective control over the 7 universal laws. Once you understand what you want, why you want it, and how it feels to have it, you can then step into that feeling and anchor your emotions and intentions in it. And by doing this, you become a deliberate creator. Law number 2, the law of allowing. This simply is allowing other people, situations, and circumstances around you to be what they are without needing to change or fix them or it. It means being okay when somebody's crazy or being dysfunctional and not having to fix them in order for you to be happy. Being okay when someone forgets your birthday and not letting it ruin your whole day because they're being selfish and insensitive or forgetful and neglectful. It's about being okay when someone cuts you off on the freeway or expressway and you don't have to chase them down. I mean, it's the law of allowing things to happen, mistakes to happen, or people to be downright rude, and not letting them ruin your day because because they don't have a clue. Okay, that's allowing. If you can allow them to be who they are without it affecting who you are, you can stay in a high level of energy vibration and stay at peace. Then there's the law of abundance, and that's the law that says there's enough for everyone and everything without taking from someone or something else. If you want more, you cooperate with the universe in creating more. Enough is always there and is always available to anyone who wants it, who's willing to be a part of the creating process. Okay, we just did an abundance check, and I hope that you guys did write your abundance checks, because if you did, you probably have already had some experience of the easing of the scarcity and lack and limitation. Remember, God only believes in abundance. The universe only knows and recognizes abundance and prosperity. Humans created lack and limitation and scarcity, and we all bought into it. And so now it becomes a human experience because we've created it, and the universe said, okay, you want some of that stuff? We can do that. Then there's the law of potential, of pure potentiality. Say that 3 times. The universe does not recognize limitation. All limits are in your mind and your experience. If you can believe, you can achieve. Unlimited potential is within us, and it's up to us to learn how to tap into it and bring it forth. Then there's the law of detachment. You will get what you need and desire, but you can't control the when or the how. It's also called the law of divine timing. Either way, it means that the universe, in its infinite wisdom, will bring what we want to us when the time is right and if it's the right thing for us. Sometimes we want something and we're so determined to have it, but it's not good for us. Some people I've had some of my coaching clients have been, praying and wanting to take someone's husband. Not good. When you're taking from someone else, that's not right. And it's also not good for you because it sets up some bad karma. You don't want that because, well, we won't go into all that stuff. But the thing about it is, we must be willing to accept the wisdom and judgment of the divine as to what's in our highest and best good. Because sometimes we can want something and want to have it and not be able to see down the road that what having that particular thing will bring to us. And sometimes it can bring disaster. So we have to allow our universe to protect us when necessary. Then there is the law of polarity, which simply says for every action, there is a reaction. It's all about balance. The universe recognizes only balance. Negative, positive, give, take, cause, effect. In other words, you will reap what you sow. What you put out brings its energy equivalent back to you. So it's necessary to avoid excesses of any kind. And anytime you get into excessive behaviors, activities, or thoughts, you will find it throws things out of balance. And that's when you start getting all kinds of stuff coming at you left, right, and, behind you and upside down. It's a matter of things being out of balance. And when that happens, the pendulum swings wildly from side to side, which causes chaos. When we have emotional extreme highs and extreme lows, and we don't have that middle ground of balance. And it doesn't say that you're never happy or super happy or that you won't ever be sad. But what it means is that when you have those experiences, they're not so extreme that they throw everything out of whack, and that very soon you can bring yourself back to center and not be, and not stay out of whack for long periods of time. When we have those extreme highs and lows, very often we've come to call it bipolar or schizophrenia and things like that. So, you don't want that, because that's a mental illness. It's a condition that needs treatment. Those people have a condition where they need help. But some people may not be diagnosed as bipolar, but boy, they can be so emotionally unstable, you wonder, and you kind of begin to think that they are. So emotional excesses can cause undesired responses from the law of attraction. Remember, it can only respond unconditionally to whatever you're telling it you want. And unfortunately, even for those who are mentally ill, sometimes they don't necessarily get an exception to the rule. Sometimes our very mentally disturbed people can create some real havoc and some real dramatic trauma. But that's another whole class to go into, trying to kind of define what that's all about. What we're talking about is the law of attraction and the fact that we are healthy and we can control our emotions, and that's what we want to do. Now the seventh law, and I saved it for last for a reason, that's the law of attraction. And that simply says that whatever energy you send out is what comes back to you. Whatever you're feeling is what the universe responds to. What you get as the result of your desire may appear differently than what you expected, and for various reasons, but your desire's energy will always bring its equivalent back to you. The law of attraction responds immediately. And sometimes you don't get the results immediately, but it's already seconds, after you've triggered it, it starts to create what you want. That's why we more often get what we're focusing on instead of what we want. In other words, if we're focused intently and energetically on the trauma and the drama and the circumstances, even though we're wanting something better, our intention is so intensely and strongly, powerfully focused on the stuff that's going on right now that it really negates what we're trying to create. So, of course, get your attention off of what you don't want, all right, and onto what you want. For instance, when we're experiencing lack and limitation, this is a powerful experience that really entraps us most of the time. When we're experiencing it, that's what we see and what we feel powerfully at that moment. And many people say, well, how do I focus on abundance and prosperity when my bills are due, or they're going to turn off my utilities, or I'm can't pay the rent, or I can't buy food, or things like that. How do I focus on abundance and prosperity when I'm experiencing so much challenge? Yeah, you are. That's the circumstance. But what you have to do in those times is to sit down and start feeling, and literally go into a meditation first so you can calm down, then start daydreaming and imagining what would it feel like if I had all the money I needed to pay all of my bills, expenses, and desires. What would it feel like if I could pay my rent on time? When I pay my rent on time, imagine, what does that feel like to pay your rent on time? What does it feel like to be able to buy whatever food you want, have refrigerator and cabinets full of food? What does it feel like to have extra money, bank accounts, spendable income, the car of your dreams? If you can play that game with yourself, even for 2 or 3 minutes several times a day, and the longer the better, then you will begin to find that you'll start to see solutions coming in. Surprises will show up, people will show up, opportunities will be presented to you, unexpected gifts. And sometimes those unexpected gifts may not be money, they may be time. You may find that you thought the utility company wouldn't give you more time and they're going to turn everything off tomorrow, so something says call and talk to them. And you call and talk to them and find out, hey, you can get 2 more weeks. And 2 more weeks may give you another check or some time to make some more money. And you got a gift of time. And quite frankly, time is more valuable than money, because time is something you can't get back. You can always make more money, but you can't always create. If you lose time, you can't make more time, but you can borrow time by giving yourself extension. So sometimes your blessing of abundance is an abundance of time. So don't forget that. We get so focused on abundance, meaning money, that we often forget abundance comes in many forms, and one of them is time. So when you're in a lack and limitation or scarcity experience, do the conscious, logical thing, and that is to make yourself sit down and get yourself distracted. Sometimes I recommend, if the experience is too intense, sit down and watch a funny movie. Go do something, get out of the house, get yourself distracted. And then when the energy is lighter, it goes back to what we did in those first classes about stepping your energy, your emotions up from the lower levels of depression and fear and insecurity to anger to, just up the ladder till you get to a point where you can start to create positive results. That's what it is. And if you get stuck in one of those really intense experiences, go back and do the sessions in week 1 or 2, I think it was. No, 1. And step your energy up till you can get to a point where you can think straight. Okay, that's why one of the reasons I'm leaving the group up, because you may find yourself in a situation where it's so overwhelming that you don't have the strength at that point in time to get yourself back to where you need to be. And you can sit down, watch the video, tap through it, and and then take action, even if it means getting out of the house or sitting down watching a funny movie or a comedy show or calling up a positive friend that can talk you out of your dilemma. Okay, now as we were talking a little bit earlier, I saved as I said a little earlier, I saved the law of attraction for last, because not only did I want to go into a little more detail about what it was and how it relates to our daily energy practices, but I wanted to connect it to one more missing piece of the puzzle, and that's the puzzle. The missing piece is the energy of our heart connection, and what our heart, how important it is to creating. And so I'm going to talk about that now. The heart is our energy center. It's the center of our life. It's the thing that keeps us alive. If your heart stops beating, you die within seconds, literally, or certainly within minutes. It becomes critical to get the blood flowing and get the heart beating again, to get the oxygen to the body and, more importantly, to the brain. Okay, so we know how important the heart is on a physical level. Well, when it comes to creating our lives and controlling our emotions, it's the key to that as well. What we may not have connected, or what you may not realize, is the heart connects to the law of attraction and the other universal laws, but most importantly, because law of attraction is what we create with, actively create with and interact with, it's important to understand how your heart, why you hear me say heal your heart, and why so much of what we've done was about healing your heart and getting your emotions to a positive point, is because the heart is the way you talk to the universe. You talk to the universe through your feelings and your emotions, which resides in your heart. It's the center of our emotions and our creative power. It responds to everything we sense and feel. Okay? Oh, and by the way, did you know that the heart has its own intelligence? separate from the brain. Science has proven that it has just as many neurons as the brain. And the neurons, the receptors in the brain, are what gives us the ability to think and rationalize. It gives us, it's what connects the receptors in our brain so we can make thoughts and have ideas and all of this. And even though the brain connects to the heart has its own intelligence. It does its own thing. It creates its own feelings. When we have emotions, we feel them in our heart, not so much in your head. When you have an emotion, you don't really, you think it and you are aware of the feeling, but the emotion is in your heart. That's why when your heart is broken, you don't go around holding your head when you have a broken heart. You're holding your heart because it aches. It can pound. It can be just totally devastated by an emotional trauma. And when we're healing our emotions and our spirits from a crisis or a trauma, we're working on the heart energy. So it's got its own intelligence, its own emotional system. And because it's got as many neurons as the brain and functions in its own way, it does its own thing with the body. I mean, nobody tells the heart to keep beating. The heart does that on its own, and I can prove it, and I will in a minute. But that proves, too, that it, in a way, is a secondary brain, if you will. The heart is another brain. So you thought you only had one. No, you got two. You got two. So be aware and respect it because it's intelligent. It's cognizant, it's aware, okay? And while our hearts do communicate with our brains, it really can function independently of the brain. It makes its own decisions, reacts to situations, without ever consulting the brain. The brain gets it kind of like sends a memo to the brain. I did this. I'm reacting to that. I'm feeling this, that, and the other. And the brain is like, oh, okay. It goes along with it. But it also does its own thing without us ever having to think about it. It beats, it pumps the blood, it purifies the blood, it does all these bodily functions that we have no clue are going on. And even while we're sleeping, the heart's busy doing its work to help heal the body, to keep us alive, to keep to oxygenate us and all that. I mean, it's just doing all kinds of things. And you can even, sometimes if you have a dream, you can wake up with a feeling in your heart. You can wake up crying. You can wake up happy, and you have this feeling in your heart. Not only that, I said I could prove that the heart has its own separate independent functions of the brain. Well, we've often heard about people being brain dead, which means that their hearts are continuing to beat even though the brain has ceased to function. There's no brain activity. They put on put your brains on the machines and nothing's happening, flatlined. The brain is not functioning, but the heart's continuing to beat. A person's body can live for a long time after the brain dies. It puts you on life support. Brain's doing nothing, but the heart's still beating and the body's still functioning. This is often the basis for the conflict a family will feel when it comes time to decide to remove a loved one from life support systems, when the doctors have said they're brain dead and nothing can revive the brain, and the family sees that the body's still alive because the heart's still beating, and they just can't accept that loved one is no longer there because they're still alive. The heart's still beating. Brain's dead, but the heart's still beating. Conversely, if you let the heart stop beating for more than a few minutes, brain will die too. So while the heart can kind of live and function without the brain cannot live very long without the heart. And the fact that the heart is oxygenating the blood, which feeds the brain. So if you could really actually say the heart's the primary brain and the brain is the secondary brain. So, get your understanding straight so you realize that the heart is a very important thing, which is also why it's so important to have your emotions balanced so your heart and your emotions stay healthy, okay? Also, our heart is the first organ to develop in a developing fetus. One of the first things they can detect when a baby's growing is they can see a heartbeat, even though the baby still looks like something else, something out of the primordial age. The heart's beating. That's the first sign of life, and it starts beating as the rest of the body begins to grow around it. It beats in the very early stages all the way through until the end of our physical lives. It's our most vital organ, so there's no wonder that when it comes to creating, it is also the most essential part of that process. Okay? It's very important. You've often heard me say, in fact, you've heard me say repeatedly through this series, that it's important to raise your emotional vibrational frequencies to keep them high. I've stated how important it is to focus on your feelings and intentions and on what you want instead of what you don't want. You've heard me say that we communicate with the universal laws through our feelings and the energies we send out. And this is particularly true when we're working with the law of attraction, which we always are 24/7, okay? What we feel and emote through our hearts flows out into the universal substance around us. It surrounds us in the heartbeat, the heart emotions, the feelings goes out in waves of energy, waves of vibrational energy, whether it's positive or negative, peaceful or chaotic. We send that out. You can walk into a room with someone who's disturbed and emotionally sad or very depressed, and it's like walking into a room of thick soup. It's like, woo, I can feel your energy, feel your pain. Or conversely, walk into a room where everybody's laughing and having fun, and it lifts your spirits and you're energized. That energy is out into the universal substance that surrounds us. We know that we're surrounded by air, and we don't often think about air being alive or being the universal substance that we create in, but it is. We think of it as empty space, but it's not. Air is not empty space, so it's time for you to stop thinking of it that way so you can be aware of how we create and speak into the air, the universal substance that surrounds us. Our environment, the air around us, is a highly sensitive, intelligent, cognizant, and reactive energy field of creative substance that feels, hears, and responds to our every thought, word, and deed. So think about it. The air around us carries the vibrations of sound. Without air, there would be no sound. You couldn't hear. It carries the fragrance of a flower or the smell of a landfill. Okay, it affects how and what we see. Thermals, which indicates heat rising from the earth. You can see that. And in the desert, the heat that vibrates into the air can cause you to see an illusion of an oasis when it's not there. It can cause you to see a sunset or sun, all kinds of optical illusions because of the Earth's atmosphere. It transmits the temperatures of heat and cold. It has the power to move things around from tiny grains of sand to the largest trees. It can be a peaceful, cooling breeze in summer or a destructive, dangerous force like a tornado or hurricane. The air, it's the energy that gives and sustains our lives. Our hearts are our energy centers. It's the meeting point between the spiritual and physical planes that are centered in our bodies. And it connects and vibrates out into the universal substance, the air around us. Our bodies are children of the earth. Our spirits are children of the universe. We all know that the earth has a magnetic field around it, and it circulates the energy from the equator of the earth. And if you've never really noticed it, this will explain why hurricanes in the north rotate one direction and the hurricanes in the southern hemisphere rotate in the opposite direction. Same with water. It goes down the drain in one direction in the north and goes down the drain in the opposite direction in the south. And I've seen it do that. I've been in Peru, and yeah, it does go in opposite to us, okay? What happens at the equator is that's basically, the equator is along with the heartbeat of the earth, the center of the energy of the earth as it spins. And in the north, the energy flies out from the equator in the middle and goes up and around to the North Pole and back down in circular motions like this around the planet. From the south, it goes out and rotates down to the southern hemisphere into the southern pole and back up and around. So effectively, the earth the energy is going this way at the top and this way at the bottom. We do the same thing from our hearts up into our crown chakra, the energy is going up like this and around through us. And from our hearts down to our foot chakra, which is in connection with the earth, it goes down and around and up through us and around like that. There are other energy centers and circulations within our bodies as well. But the main thing is we have our hearts radiating this information from us out into the universe from that equator, our center, where the spirit realm and the physical realm come together in our hearts, okay? This flow of energy, our magnetic field around us, is more commonly known as our aura, okay? And it functions pretty much like the Earth's magnetic field, which we call it the aura, all right? So when we feel and send out feelings through our hearts, the energy field that we live in, also known as the law of attraction, because that's the universal substance that we speak, live, and communicate into, that surrounds in and is in, around, and through everything. When we are feeling and expressing through our hearts, that's why the law of attraction responds with an energy equivalent. So, that's why you got to watch your words, watch your thoughts and your feelings, because whatever you're doing and thinking and feeling, your heart is responding through its intelligence in an energetic way. Everything that we image or envision creates an energy equivalent in our feelings, in our emotions, in our thoughts. In fact, that energy equivalent already exists somewhere, either on the physical or spiritual plane. Just think about it. Everything you've ever wanted, can want, or desire already exists somewhere. Okay? I'll give you a minute to kind of take that in. Nothing new coming out of the universe. It's already there. Been there in form or in spirit form. That concept is already there. That form is already there. Almost everything you want and desire is in physical form. A car, a house, money, a vacation spot, a life partner. All of us wanting life partners, they don't have to be born. They're already here, been here a long time, grown up somewhere having a life. They're already here. Everything already exists somewhere, and it's up to us to create an energy vibration that calls us to us. That form is already present, and we sometimes get the belief system that it's got to come from somewhere else, and we come in and create it. Well, we do, but that's it's not exactly accurate, and I'm going to explain what that means in a minute. It's our job to send out intentional desire with a strong emotional trigger of some sort, positive or negative, and then follow the path of creativity that we're given that leads us to the point of intersection where we connect with that desire in its physical form. In other words, wherever that thing is that we're wanting, a house that's sitting someplace, we've got to follow the path of what takes us through finding it, getting the money, doing the loans, or doing a business or a job that creates money for us to buy it. Or in some cases, there have been people who've been given houses, people who have inherited houses, people who have been able to get in touch with maybe someone who's in a desperate financial situation and practically signs the house over to them for free. Take over my payments and get me out of this mess. All of those possibilities, those paths are there. For a car, we save up money, we decide what we want, we save up our money, we go shopping, and then we buy it. It's already been made by somebody, but we have to come to the point of intersection where we connect to the point where we can achieve or acquire it. Which means, in other words, we do our part by working on our goals, by doing our creative work, our visioning, our affirming, our imagining, and then the creative work, following the intuitive guidance we're given until we get to that point where we can then finally have it. This means that once we focus our desire and intention into the energy of the law of attraction and activate it so that it sends us the information we need. It kind of like sends us a roadmap back. It sends us directions. of what we need to do to make it happen. That information could be to change jobs, to move to a new location, to go to a certain place, meet new people, or to do something, whatever it is, to help draw us to that point of intersection. It can come to us through our intentions, through things that we see and hear, or from something someone says to us, or we hear in overhear in a conversation on the radio. I remember when my daughter wanted a puppy several years ago. She still has Dill, our little love puppy. He was a sweetheart and a gift from heaven. But when we first moved, when my divorce happened and everything fell apart, and we first moved to Vegas, and she wanted a puppy. And she wanted a certain kind of puppy. She wanted a Yorkie at the time. But of course, you know, those are expensive little dogs. And at that time, I didn't want to spend that kind of money on a dog. And so it was one of those things where, well, let's see what we can do. As it turns out, a week after we got to Vegas, there was a report on the news that there had been a fire at a puppy store. And because of that, the owner had taken all the puppies and put them in a vet because the store was destroyed and they had suffered some smoke inhalation and everything. So they spent a week at the vet. Well, it was running up her bills because it was like, I think it was 11 puppies or 14 puppies. It was a bunch of them. And so because it was running up a huge bill, she decided to just sell all the puppies at cost to get rid of them, to get them out of the vet. And so they made an announcement on the news that Saturday morning at 11 a.m. she was going to have the puppies at the dog park, and you could just come and buy a puppy at cost. So it was like, wow, perfect. So we went down there not knowing what kind of dogs they had, but as it turns out, they didn't have any little Yorkies, but they had this tiny little brown and white and black fur ball of a little Shih Tzu. He was the smallest one in the group. We found out later he's what they call a toy Shih Tzu. He's a tiny one. Imperial Shih Tzu, and he was small enough to hold in your hand, but he was such a beautiful, sweet little dog. And when we got to the little pen where all these other puppies, Dobermans and Labs and a bunch of others, and even some larger Shih Tzus were in the pen, but he was like there, and these big dogs were running all over him and tumbling and wrestling and everything, and he was like terrified in the middle, sitting there hiding. As soon as he saw us, he bolted towards us, and he was fighting his way through the dogs. And as he got closer, I bent over and reached and picked him up. And as soon as we did that, he just settled right down and licked our faces and like, thank God you saved me. It's been 10 years now, and she still has him. He's 10 years old. He turned out to be the greatest gift of love for us because he was our love puppy. Whenever we were sad or crying or going through a lot, he was there to lick our tears away and to give us love and to just be funny and be entertaining. And I mean, I don't know what we would have done without him. He came to us as the real manifestation of our desire for the law of attraction to produce not only this puppy, but greater than our expectations have ever been. He's the best little dog. He even housebroke himself. When we moved into a house, he had been using puppy pads, and we moved back to Southern California into a house where we could let him out in the backyard. And I put the little pads at the door thinking I was going to train him and break him over the next few days. He went over to the pad the first time, smelled it, took one look outside at the door, and walked outside and went on the grass. And that was the last time he ever used a pad. He, from that day forward, from that moment forward, was housebroken. And he still is the most amazing little dog. Everybody loves him because he's well behaved. His temperament is great. He's intelligent. He's funny. And he's beautiful. He really is. So that was a divine gift of heaven. She wanted a Yorkie. The universe said, I have something better in mind. Here's a little Shih Tzu that would be better for you and who'll stay with you forever. And they live a long time. So we have not regretted getting him. So that's just an example of how you can get your wish, your heart's desire, and the message, the offer could come from anywhere. So once you start doing the work, keep your eyes and ears open, and when you hear something or see something, follow that path, follow that roadmap, do what you're told, what you're guided to do, and it will take you to your heart's desire. Now, on the other hand, even if something that you're desiring is not in physical form yet, when you start working on the energy practices, doing the meditations, the affirmations, the visioning, you still activate the law of attraction. And what will happen is you activate the law of attraction. It sends energy to some creator, designer somewhere that has the idea and the ability to create what you want. and then they create it as a new product or design, which you find out about when the time is right. When the law of divine timing says, okay, we're ready, then you get what you want. Now, that's the real simplified explanation of how we create and why we should develop the habits that support us to make positive, deliberate, creative choices. You've gone through the basic steps of creating and manifesting for the last few weeks. And now you have the last piece of the puzzle, creating through your heart, the energy and power of your heart. Now you can do even more with what you've learned so you can create the life of your dreams. The practices you've been doing over the last few weeks are physical activities that help you create. They're your part of the creative process. When you add the emotional energy of what flows from your heart and you use it consciously and intentionally, you greatly enhance your power to make your dreams and desires come to you. And these are the things that you want, not arbitrary manifestations, but the real dreams and desires that you want, or something even better. Because remember, the universe always exercises its option to do something even better. And I talked about that in the story I posted today about how I wasn't dreaming big enough. I was dreaming Hondas Accords and small townhouses, and the universe said, no, you need a house with a view in the neighborhood you love, and you love the Lexus, so go for that. We can do that. And because of DS Domination, it has the ability to create the income and the framework for that lifestyle to fit in. I don't have to go from A to B to C. I can go straight from I don't have to go from C to B to A. I can go straight to A with DS Domination, and you all who are in DS Domination know what I'm talking about. When your emotions are healthy and stabilized at high vibrational levels of love and above, you will create positive results. You will get your heart's desire. When your heart is vibrating at lower emotional levels, you will create less desirable results. Sometimes you'll create chaos and instead of dreams, maybe some nightmares. So you have to be careful about that. And especially since you've had this experience now, this training, you've already upped your creative ability. So you really need to be more sensitive and aware of what you're doing, because you will pop stuff out of the law of attraction now faster and easier than ever before. The bottom line is to remember that the energy and emotions of your heart are the ways you speak to and activate the law of attraction. This is how we create. And you'll either create what you want or what you don't want. But either way, you will create. Over the last few weeks, I've given you several powerful practices to follow. Now, all of them are designed to energize and get your creative powers flowing. And these are just a few of the many that are out there. I mean, I don't even know all the processes. I'm learning new ones all the time. I've learned, as I've been working with you guys, I've also been taking another more advanced creative power course from a young man who's way more advanced than I am. And boy, I've learned some stuff through him. And it's just incredible, all of the tools that are out there. I mean, when things changed back in antiquity and humanity kind of fell from grace and got caught up in this scarcity and lack of limitation stuff as the darkness took over and the powers that be became the dominating class. What we were denied in what we were taught or misinformed about what life was all about. Now that we're discovering all of this wonderful information and the power that we have, it's incredible what our children are going to be able to do, because we are finally starting to teach them the right way, how to use the God-given abilities that they were born with, their birthrights, and eventually it will change the world. In fact, it already has, but it will become more evident as the new generations who are being born into the new information and not the old stuff, as they become the great human creators, co-creators that they were born to be. It's going to be an amazing new world in the future. Most of us now at our ages may not live to see that, but who knows? Medical technology is greatly increasing our lifespan, so who knows what we might see in the not too distant future. So you want to keep doing the processes, and add to them wherever you find new ones. And even though you may not realize that, you've already become a very powerful creator. And as you practice with these with the daily energy hygiene, you'll become even more powerful. So whether you've made a little progress or you're already seeing things show up, just keep going. It may take a little while before you see the physical results you really desire, but if you keep doing the daily energy work, you will see results. After all, it's the law. So there's no more homework this week other than to continue what you're doing, working on your daily energy hygiene, doing your tapping, your goal setting, refining your goals, working on your new story template so that when somebody says, how are you doing, you give them a new story of who you are now, not what used to be or what has happened or how hard it's been, but the new story of positive energy, anticipation, and expectation that you have come to embrace and embody. So now that we've gone through all that and talked about connecting the last piece of connecting your heart to your creative processes, let's do some tapping. This is tapping that's going to be about sustaining your success, supporting you, keeping you energized and focused on success and moving forward. This tapping that we're going to do now is designed to give you more confidence, clarity, and focus, okay? You can use it with the video, like going through the video like we did now, which you still want to do for the next week because you want to get that information I've given you ingrained in your secondary brain and in your heart, so it becomes automatic. But you can always use this tapping sequence separately. I will post it in the file section on our page as a document so that you can use it whenever you need to. When you're feeling down or you got a goal to achieve or a presentation to make and you're getting scared and feeling nervous, do your tapping for comfort or do this tapping for sustaining your success. Either way, it will get the energy going in the right direction, okay? So let's tap. Let's get going. Start with this karate chop point, and let's do our setup statement. And let me get the script because I don't memorize these scripts. I write them down because my brain, I don't remember stuff that great. So let's do it, and I'll follow it through. Follow it through with me. Karate chop. Even though I sometimes feel a little insecure. Even though I sometimes feel a little insecure about my success and what I've learned already, I'm just going to honor those feelings and let them be okay right now. Even though I've been having a lot of great things happening, or maybe not so much is happening, I'm just going to love and accept myself anyway. And even though I may be feeling a little insecure, that maybe they aren't going to last, I really know better than that. So I'm just going to be okay with that feeling. That way, and knowing that things have changed. That I have changed. And that I'm more successful and more delighted in creating and having the life I want. And even though I may be saying, yeah, well, maybe okay, to myself, I just know that I'm all right and I'm doing well. All right, let's tap eyebrow point. I am intelligent and I am brilliant. Side of the eye. I am unique. Under the eye. I'm one of a kind. Under the nose. I am proud. On your chin. I am positive and confident. On your collarbone. I'm honest and open. And top of the head. I believe in myself. Eyebrow. I am calm and confident. Side of the eye. I am sure and certain. Under the eye. I am limitless and free. Under your nose, I am strong. Chin, I am capable. Collarbone, I am so happy being me. And top of the head, I love being me. Eyebrow, success is my birthright. Side of the eye, I accept it right now. Under the eye, I am successful because I'm happy doing what I do. Under the nose, I am successful because I'm happy to be me. Chin, I am successful. Collarbone, because I use my own skills and talents. Top of the head, I am successful because I trust myself completely. Eyebrow, prosperity and success are my natural states of being. Side of the eye, I attract success in everything I do. Under the eye, I easily achieve all of my goals. Under the nose, every day in every way. On your chin, I am better and better. On your collarbone, I am more and more successful. On top of the head, I am unstoppable. Unstoppable success comes easily and effortlessly to me. Eyebrow, I am limitless. Side of the eye, I am filled with success. Under the eye, each time I complete my goals. Under the nose, I constantly draw successful people to me. That was under the nose. On the chin, I constantly allow successful outcomes into my life. Collarbone, I was born to share my talents. Top of the head, I was born to shine. Eyebrow, I am unstoppably successful in everything I do. Side of the eye, I was born to succeed. Under the eye, I am always in the right place at the right time. Under the nose, I always make wise choices. On the chin, I believe in myself. Collarbone, I fully deserve to be successful. Top of the head, I fully deserve to be successful. Eyebrow, I am always in the right place at the right time. Side of the eye, I was born to succeed. Under the eye, I am unstoppably successful in everything I do. Under the nose, and I love being successful. Chin, I deserve to be successful. Collarbone, I was born to shine and share my talents. Top of the head, I constantly allow successful outcomes into my life. Eyebrow, I constantly draw successful people to me. Side of the eye, I am filled with success every time I complete my goals. Under the eye, I am limitless. Under the nose, I am unstoppable. On the chin, success comes effortlessly to me. Collarbone, success comes easily. Top of the head, every day in every way, I am more and more successful. Eyebrow, I achieve all of my goals with ease and grace. Side of the eye, I attract success in everything I do. Under the eye, prosperity and success is my natural state of being. Under the nose, every day in every way. On the chin, I get better and better. Collarbone, I am successful because I trust myself completely. Top of the head, I am successful because I use my own skills and talents. Eyebrow, I am successful. Side of the eye, I am happy to be me. Under the eye, I am happy to be doing what I do. Under the nose, I am following and achieving my goals. Chin, I am confident, certain, and sure. Collarbone, I am fulfilling my dream. Top of the head, success is my birthright, and I claim it now. Eyebrow, I am intelligent and wise. Side of the eye, I am creative and innovative. Under the eye, I am confident and positive. Under the nose, I am committed and focused. On your chin, I am clear and determined. On your collarbone, I am honest and open. Top of the head, I am free to follow my dreams. Eyebrow point, I am calm and confident. Side of the eye, I am sure and certain. Under the eye, I am limitless and free. Under the nose, I am secure in my choices. On your chin, I move forward with ease and grace and smiles. Collarbone, I am happy being me. Top of the head, I love being so successful. Now we want to tap right hand on the left wrist. Thank you, universe. Thank you, Mother Earth. Left hand on the right wrist for all of this and something even better. And so it is. All right, relax and take 3 breaths in and out. In first, deep. All the way down into your stomach. Feel the air going down in your stomach. Push your stomach out deep as you can. And exhale. Pull your stomach in like you're trying to push it to your back. Push all the air out of your lungs. Inhale. Deep into your stomach. Exhale. Pull your stomach into your back. Inhale. Deep into your stomach. And exhale, pushing all the air out of your lungs. Inhale and relax. And just breathe. Give yourself a little while to sit and feel the energy flowing in and around you, and pay attention to the energy rush that you may be feeling in your heart. Be aware of the energy flowing out and around you and how it feels as it circulates around you. Feel the tingling in your feet or the top of your head. That's the energy circulating from your heart and around and through your feet and around and through the crown chakra in your head. And after you've sat for a few minutes and after we finish this class, you want to write down, take your journal out or paper, whatever, and write down any thoughts and feelings you have, especially any aha moments or insights or emotions that come up. Because if you're having some emotions coming up around any of the success statements we just tapped on, you want to tap on those by either going through the tapping sequence again or going through the tapping for comfort or one of the other sequences. And don't forget about the receiving video and audio I sent you, because that opens you up to be able to receive what the universe is trying to give you. And many of us have a hard time receiving. We give okay, but we have a hard time receiving. And that receiving resistance also prevents the universe from bringing you what you want. You know, I mean, the truth of the matter is, if there's no one to receive, no one can give. And if there's no one giving, there's nothing to receive. So you got to be in flow. That's part of the balance, okay? Now this week, just spend some time reviewing your journal writings that you've been making over the last 5 weeks or 4 weeks. I hope you have. And if you haven't, then start now. But the point is, if you've been keeping your journal, writing your notes and feelings over the last few weeks, you can now take them and look back and start to see the progress you've made. And if you don't think you've made any progress and you've been keeping a journal, if you go back and look through it, you'll find that you've come a long way, much farther than you think. Now, I have a new meditation I'm going to give you this evening. It's called Guidance. I'm going to upload it to a Dropbox and then put the link post it in the group page, and you can download it whenever you want to. But I'm giving you the second um, meditation. You still want to keep using I am whenever you want to, but this is something to break up and create a new energy. This guidance meditation helps you to learn to listen to your inner voice, to connect with the inner voice, and to realize that you are receiving guidance from every cell in your body, from your brain and your hands, your heart, every cell, your feet, in your body, everywhere there's guidance. The universe speaks to every cell in your body as an individual life entity. And your cells create organs, and your organs, create systems, the endocrine system, all these various systems, your lymphatic system, your energy systems. They're all intelligence, universal intelligence in action. And so guidance helps you to become aware of how guidance is being received throughout your body 24 hours a day, not just through your intuition, but through the way your heart and the universe speaks to us as spiritual beings. I'll post the link and you can download it and start using it. And now that you've connected with your inner self by affirming your I am process, you're ready to tune into your inner guidance. And this meditation will help you do that. So, hey, great job. Great job. You did it. You've gone through these weeks of transformation, and you've made a commitment to do it. And those of you who are still with us, I applaud you for being focused and committed and staying with it, because it's a commitment. It's a time investment of time, and I'm hoping you're seeing and receiving the value you expected. And if you aren't, then keep working with it, because I think you'll find that you've received a lot more than you ever thought you would get. I know I have, because Lord knows I wasn't expecting to see the progress and breakthroughs I've been receiving, not only with DS Domination, but with this dream, these goals I've set. And there are other things going on too, which is just absolutely incredible. So look out for those unexpected gifts of time and money and favors and people showing up that you didn't know were coming, or doing things for you that you never expected. This is all the process of receiving and the result of your activating the law of attraction in positive ways. So time flies, and this is the end of another session, and more than anything, we only have one more week. So next week we're going to focus a little bit more on the specifics of DS Domination and how you can take what we've been practicing and tune it into building your business, or staying focused on creating success you want, or anything that you're doing, whether you're in DS Domination or whether you're doing something else in your life. We're just trying to heal your heart and get yourself back on track. We're going to talk a little bit more about focused goals and how to work with the process and tweak it to suit your needs, okay? So keep up the great work. Keep doing the tapping. It's part of the most critical stuff you're doing, because it keeps the energy flowing and it creates the healing process and clears all the junk in our systems, minds, and hearts. Continue with your daily energy hygiene practices, working on your goals and listening to your inner voice. Thank you so much for your hard work. I appreciate the time that you spend with me and that you have allowed me to help you. And I'll see you next week. That's pretty much all there is to it. So have a great week. Stay positive, laugh, love, smile, and move through this week with ease and grace, okay? I look forward to seeing you again next week, and take care. Uh-oh, what's happening here? Don't tell me. Oh my God. I'm hoping that didn't get cut off. Let me go see. Oh my goodness.